The following is for entertainment purposes only. We are not financial advisors. We are not responsible for any losses, only the profits. Y'all ever heard this ticker MP Minerals? It was a SPAC. Chamaths actually backed this thing, and it's a battery metal play based out of California, United States. Long story short, at Moon, people made a ton of money. It went from $10 all the way up to like $45, $46, and that's just on the commons. It had options, it had warrants, people multiplied like crazy. Wouldn't that be cool if we had a time machine we could go back? I love doing these videos, man. Getting in before something's cool on a target we know is going to rip. Check this out. The U.S. nickel cobalt miner Merica, Cobalt hires bank to go public through SPAC. So we have a mine in the United States. This one's in Merica. It's not in California. It's going to go SPAC. Latest news, breaking news, top news, headlines. By itself, bills itself as the only vertically integrated cobalt producer in North America. Former Glencore head Willie Srothetty is a director. Its flagship Madison mine in Merica is estimated to hold 72 million pounds of recoverable cobalt, 105 million pounds of nickel, and 103 million pounds of copper, the company said. Where we're getting a lot of our copper right now, the Kiwis. Okay? You squeeze them and Australians, man. This is huge. So US-backed nickel-based LLC hires Goldman Sachs. I thought this was really interesting. So they hired Goldman Sachs to help assess options, including going public, listing through a blank check company in the deal that could value the miner at $5 billion, two sources said on Friday. So this is even bigger than MP Minerals. This thing is massive. It's Merica, it's mining, it's ESG. These rocks that we're pulling out of the ground here, this is what you need to make electronic vehicles, all the stuff. Solar panels, you need some of this stuff, right? All that. This is huge. Check this out. They're pitching the Biden thing, all that. I love this part right here. Check this out. Some of the funds would be used to scale up operations. So make it bigger, make it more macro, which could include battery recycling and processing of third-party materials, one of the sources said. So remember that stock PDAC, I believe it is, Peridot 1, life cycle, which by the way I love. What do? You can take like a phone or anything you can recycle, a wheelbarrow, a phone, your toaster oven, throw it up on the conveyor belt. It goes up. And what happens? It comes out gold and everything that can be recycled, right? So it's going to reuse the gold, the silver, the copper, pulls it all out of there somehow. It's totally crazy and cool. It's something like you see on Willy Wonka. Remember that? But they're going to add that. So we're going to have the PDAC life cycle and we're going to have the MP Minerals all in one stock. I'm all over this, bro. And it's Merica, and it's the biggest out there in America. Dude, I am going to chase this one, okay? There's only so many unicorns out there. I'm going to be grandpaing it up in a lot of these unicorns, and I don't care. Existing tailwinds and underground deposits are expected to yield total annual production of at least 5 million pounds of cobalt, 6 million pounds of nickel, and 22 million pounds of copper by 2023. They've already got stuff they're pulling out. They got tons of existing mines. They always need to be upgrading tractors and machines and yada yada. They got tons of acreage. I looked into a little bit. I love it. Construction of the hydrometallurgic facility for production of battery-grade cobalt and nickel is nearing completion, according to the document. All the battery bros and brands out there are going to be wanting to use this place for many, many reasons. It's right here, though. Let's rewind time. Let's find some SPACs that might be able to take it. First one that came to mind is one that's right in front of our face. One's called Ivanhoe Capital. It's run by Morgan Stanley. Industries related to the paradigm shift away from fossil fuels, is what it's saying, towards the electrification of industry and society. Our targets may include any company in the supply chain from mine sites to the end user of electrification products and services, including transportation, e-mobility, electric propulsion, battery technology, storage sectors. All those use the mining stuff. That's why I like the mining plays, man. It's a picks and shovel. All that uses them. These include companies exploring for mining, processing, refining of the metals necessary for electrification. In particular, copper, nickel, cobalt, and platinum group metals. Platinum, palladium, rhodium. A lot of those are going to be byproducts of this. I didn't see if they've got specifically those, but this is just the target Ivan's going for. The manufacturers of batteries and battery components, electric grid, you get it? Car parts, electric battery storage. Here you go. These warrants blew my mind. Look at this. The lowest these things got was like $1.28. That's big news, dude. A lot of warrants in this dead time, let's call them, for SPACs, they got way lower than that. Even awesome LOIs were around $1. This thing non-LOI'd is sitting currently at $1.53. That tells me there's some big boy people that are just long this dude. You know, there's guys who follow this guy, Robert Friedland, that aren't into SPACs, but are only into this because of him. So we got some of that, I think, like old school miner money up in here. You know, people that only invest in gold and silver miners and all that Merica stuff. That's good because it's going to give us stability. It's also going to give us bigger rips. So once we get an LOI with this guy, dude, so it might seem a little high, and it is for non-LOI, but that just kind of shows me the type of people who are investing. This guy's really cool and funny. 2017, Mr. Freeland received a Lifetime Achievement Award during the Canadian Mining Party Canada House in London, England, a career recognition of the Northern Miner, the century-old flagship of Canada's leading miner. This guy is monster in the whole field. People know this dude. He's got a SPAC. Buy it. Okay. If you don't want to have any like downside at all, you can get the commons in this. You know, these warrants could definitely still go back down to like $1.20 or maybe even 50 cents. I don't know what the real low is. But the commons, you can get those for like no risk whatsoever right now, around $10. So buy those if you don't want any risk. ESM. This could be it. Credit Suisse is acting as the sole book running manager for this one. Fine. Where can you get ESM warrants, or commons? They're literally paying you to hold this thing at $9.77. You have positive risks. I bet you the real floor is closer to $10. Can you handle that? Mr. Mick Davis is the guy running this one. Launched $300 million battery metal SPAC. Do I need to tell you anything else? This guy's totally legit too. People know this guy. Former big boss guy. He found new battery metal SPAC. Vision Blue Resources, which he owns, is stepping up efforts to reach the goal of becoming a battery metals giant by launching their SPAC. So he owns an investment firm that invests in metal stuff, battery metal stuff. And then they, through that, guy running it, started the SPAC through that. ESM strategy to identify a complete initial business combination. Target can benefit leadership, blah, blah, blah. Focus target business constant benefit from global transition towards a low carbon economy. Buy it. What? Why not? Even if it doesn't end up, even if these don't end up being the one we want, like the golden goose, you're still going to make money. Unless the world crashes. That's the way I'm looking at it. This is kind of a neat one here, which I think a lot of people forgot about after maybe January or something. But Ross. This is known as the Trump SPAC. We have a bunch of Biden SPACs we've been talking about. And there still could be, what's the smaller Biden SPAC? It's not PIPP, but I named it. By the way, I'm asking because I can't remember right this second. But put it down in the comments. There was a video I did, I don't know, like 4 or 5, 6 days ago. And I'm calling it the Biden SPAC. It's like a cheap PIP, PIPP. What is that one? Because I think that could be this one also. PIP could be this one also too, but these ones are more directed towards mining, I think. Anyways, Ross. Ticker on this, Ross acquisition. The second. What's your risk on this? Nothing. In fact, they're probably paying you to hold it. You can buy commons at $9.70. Do it. All right. Below are sectors that we believe are currently undergoing transformation, have attractive growth. automotive, electric vehicles, auto driving, energy storage, renewables, energy efficient manufacturing, robotics, automation, AI, 3D printing, smart factories, materials, chemicals, advanced materials, sustainable materials, hint it, semiconductor space, any of these you'll make money on. How about the digital trade and alternative fuels? Fine. Lots of Trump stuff on this board. Miners like Trump too. Keep that in mind. Stuff is political, right? So the CEO of this Missouri mine, if he just so happens to be in love with Biden or Trump or neither, that actually is going to help make a decision. It is what it is, right? I don't know. I actually haven't looked it up. We should look up who the CEO was voting for. That will probably tell us. But if he's a Trump supporter, which most miner guys are, this might be the one too. Wilbur Ross recently served Secretary of Commerce under the Trump administration. There's also Larry Kudlow, Director of National Economic Council under the Trump administration. North America, Europe, Asia. Here's Mr. Ross. An article, made a fortune in blue-collar mining industries. Make America Great Again hat, camo edition. Billionaire, by the way. William Ross, Donald Trump. Been tied to Aloka for decades. Whenever someone is talking about Aloka, his name always gets mentioned. When he came into office, the first two things he did was help out the steel and aluminum industries. The Trump administration big push for Merica, rare earth mineral minings was Ross Wilbur's idea. U.S. President Donald Trump has declared an emergency over the country's growing dependence of foreign materials. I talk about all the time, man. We're pulling our gold and stuff from Australia and Switzerland and wherever else. Not China and Russia. Why? Because they keep it. Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross said during visit Rio Tinto resolution, copper mine in Phoenix, Arizona. He's well known in mining. He's well known in metal, aluminium, steel. By Greenland from Dutch Greenland, vast amounts. Get it? He's super duper well connected, all right? Here he is in Saudi Arabia. I don't know what he's doing, but this is him right here. He's standing next to Ivanka Trump, some sort of party, whatever, Republican government, blah, blah, blah. In 1997, he launched his own private equity fund at Rothschild. Dun, dun, dun. Managed Rothschild and raised another $250 million from investors. Dun, 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 dun. I haven't even talked about that family here, but this was in 97. Before that, he was talking with governors and Trump way back then about his all sorts of stuff, hanging out. This guy is super well connected. Super duper well connected. I wonder if Goldman Sachs, though, would think it was tacky to recommend a SPAC they front run. So remember, Goldman Sachs was hired to advise them on how and which maybe SPAC to go after that would best suit them. Right away, I was thinking, I don't think it's going to be one that Goldman Sachs is backing. I think that they would think it was tacky. That's kind of how those guys think, man. There's a reason why Goldman Sachs is like the pinnacle of highly respected fundy stuff out there, big money out there. You know, because I'm sure a lot of people at first would be like, oh, it's going to be the next. They're just going to hand it over to GSAH number 2 that's coming out or something. I'm not buying that, man. I just don't see it. I think that they would think that was kind of tacky. You know, I mean, just think of all these other deals that they've advised on and book ran that to me look, even on paper, way better than the SPAC that they picked with that, I don't even remember what it is, radiation testing equipment. I don't know. I could see them thinking it was tacky. Why am I saying that? Because remember, as I was mentioning the banks front running all these 3 SPACs I was mentioning, not one is front run by Goldman Sachs. Credit Suisse, not JP Morgan, but whatever the other ones are. Kind of interesting. Tell me that PIP one. Who's front running PIP, by the way? PIPP? And then what's that other one that I said is like a baby PIP that's got all the Democratic people in it? that are friends with Biden and Obama and all that. I don't know. Help me find out. We need to do some more research. I need to find out the CEO of this Missouri mine and see if he is pro-Trump or pro-Biden. Something you got to pay attention to. Thanks for watching this. If you haven't liked, commented, or subscribed, please do it. It definitely helps out the channel. Please friend us on Twitter and StockTwits. It's flagship.